Hey, good morning, Team Impact. Hey, Mr. Mill here. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Going to go ahead and start with a little bit of a review with multiplying some fractions. And the core focus here is going to be the cross canceling or reducing or factoring, whatever you want to call it. I want to work on a page of those just to kind of refresh that and keep that muscle working in our brain. And then this packet also is in the Schoology. But then we're going to get to dividing some fractions. So we're going to work in this packet today and probably tomorrow, which will be Thursday. So you'll be able to find everything there. And then we're going to go back to our unit packet, our unit 2 fraction packet on probably Friday. So that's kind of what I have planned. I want to make sure, I want to slow down here. I want to make sure that we can do this. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do maybe 4 problems here. So I'm going to do maybe 1, 7, 13, and let's go ahead and do 16. Okay. And then I want you to pause the video if you're at home, and I want you to do the rest of this page. Okay. Then when you turn it back on, I'll have an answer key up and you can check it. And then we're going to pause, flip to the other side, and get into dividing. Okay. Sounds good. Excellent. Okay. So we have 1/8 times 2/3. Okay. And and what I'm looking to do is not just multiply through and reduce on the back end. I want to reduce on the front end. So to do that, I'm looking for things that are compatible top to bottom combination. So when I see this, I see two even numbers. And as we know, 2 will go into any even number. And we actually have a 2 there. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now I have ones on the top, I'm done. Anytime I have ones on the top, I can't factor anything out. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 3 is 12, and I like to circle that, okay? All right, and we're just going to progressively work down the page. Number 7. 5/9 times 7/8, top to bottom combination. Guess what? There isn't any. 5 isn't compatible with 9 or 8, and neither is 7. So we're just going to go ahead and multiply them through. And 9 times 8 is 72, and that's it. You see, when there's nothing to factor, I know my product is simplified. Okay? Excellent. Okay, let's slide down to number 13. Here we go. 7/8 times 12/13. Interesting problem. These two are even, so I know 2 will go into both. But guess what? There's something bigger. Do you know what it is? It's a 4. The LCM, or excuse me, the GCF of those two numbers is 4. So let's go ahead and factor 4 out. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Is there anything else that's compatible? No. So 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 13 is 26. And we circle it up. So again, doing this on the front end, like in numbers 1 and 13, really helps us. Okay. And it's really going to help us on number 16 because I have 16 17ths times. I don't want to take the time and multiply these two and these two. I want to see if I can reduce it on the front end. And to do that, I see 2 even numbers. So I know 2 will go into them. But is there something bigger? Again, we want to find the greatest number that goes into both of these. So guess what? I see a 4 will go into both of those. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. But actually, I made a mistake. There was something actually bigger, but it's okay. And I did that on purpose just to show you that if you do make a mistake, you can factor them again. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. You see? So if you make the mistake, you can still continue to factor. So now we're going to multiply 2 times 23. I'm going to double 23. And when I double that, I end up with 46. And you may need to come off to the side and still do this, right? And that's okay. And that is simplified. So please, what I'd like for you to do is pause the video and crank out this page. And then when you turn it back on, I'll have the answer key here and you can check it. Okay, so if you've completed this page, you'll see that I did as well. And you'll see all of my work. And I'm going to give you about a minute or two just to check this page. Okay. And you'll see all the factoring that I did when it was possible. And I could have made a mistake. I hope I didn't, but it happens. If you do, you do. That's in the rear view mirror, man. We got to look out what's in front of us here. Okay. So go ahead and check through that, please. Get a drink here. We're going to move on. All right, excellent, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to take my answer key off, and I'm going to flip my packet over and go to the back of the first page. Okay, and the back of the first page is dividing fractions. It is just simple fractions. We're going to be doing some factoring, and we're going to start with this page, and I'll probably do 6 or 8 together. Then I'm going to let you work on your own. But we have to understand what it means to reciprocate, or what is a reciprocal. Okay, so when we talk about reciprocating in life, if somebody gives you something, it's nice to do something for them back. We reciprocate, all right? We do something in turn. In math, it's a little bit different, and I'm going to come up here. If I have the fraction 3/4 and I want to reciprocate that fraction, say that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. The denominator becomes the numerator, and vice versa. That's important. So that's the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. The reciprocal of 1/3 is 3/1. You notice I'm not putting an equal sign because they are not equal. It's the reciprocal. But what happens if you have like a number on number, problem 8, a 7? What's the reciprocal of 7? Well, how do you put 7 in a fraction form? We would put that over 1. And the reciprocal of 7/1 is 1/7. Now, you ask, why did I show you that? Why did I show you what is the reciprocal of a fraction? Because to divide two fractions, we have to change the sign to multiplication and flip or reciprocate the second fraction. Always, always, always the second fraction. Okay? So let's take a look at this. So the first thing we do is we're going to rewrite the problem. So we're going to come underneath and rewrite 2/3. I'm going to change the sign to multiplication. And once I do that, I'm going to flip the second fraction. So to divide two fractions, we change the sign and we flip the second fraction. At this point right here, I could factor if I could, but I can't. There's nothing that we could factor out. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 1 is 3. And we end up with an improper fraction. Okay, and when we end up with that improper fraction, all right, we want to switch that back. Now, most of you are going to be able to say, hey, that equals 1 1/3. But if you can't, you're going to have to divide that out. Okay, and I'll do that here. 3 goes into 4 once. That is my numerator. My denominator never changes, and there it is. And you may want to box that off, right? Okay, so let's review. I rewrote, I changed the sign to multiplication, and I flipped the second fraction. Number 2, 3/5, change the sign, flip the second fraction. Fancy name for flipping? Reciprocating. At this point, I look for top to bottom combinations to reduce. And there it is. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5. Remember, when you have the same number top and bottom, go ahead and cancel them out and put 1s. 3 and 2 are not compatible, so I end up with 3/2. If I want to, change that over. 1 is my numerator. My denominator doesn't change. I'm going to box that off. Number 3, 7/10 times 3/8. I'm sorry, I didn't reciprocate, see? Times 8, oops, pencil broke there. 8/3. It's vital that you rewrite. Don't just flip that right there. You'll get confused. But anyway, top to bottom, I see that these are both even, so I'm going to divide them both by 2. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 3 is 15. And this is one we're probably going to have to chop down. Okay. And what I mean by chop is put it inside the bracket. 15 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 28 one time. That is 15. Subtract and get 13. Remember, that's our new numerator, and our denominator doesn't change. And if you need scratch paper, you're welcome to use it, and I'm just going to kind of box that off there, okay? So what we've noticed so far is we've changed the sign to multiplication and flipped the second fraction. Always the second fraction, never the first. Let's do 2 more, and then I want you to work on 6 through 18, okay? Let's take a look here. 5/9 times 3/2. Okay, so top to bottom, there it is. 3 and 9 are compatible. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. I divided both of these by 3. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. That's a simple fraction. Bob's your uncle. We're done right there. Now we have a unique problem here on number 5 because we have this 4. What I do is just do that. I put it over 1. I'm still going to rewrite it though. 4/1, change the sign, 3/2. I see that these are compatible. And that equals 6/1. Any number over 1 equals the numerator of 6. Okay? So that's a good start. Do 6 through 18. Pause the video. When you turn it back on, the answers will magically appear. And there they are. Went through and did all those problems. Excuse me. So you'll see I did a lot of canceling. So I'm going to leave that up there for about a minute or two. You can check your work. Remember, change the sign and flip the second fraction. Go ahead. And I guess you could pause the video if you wanted to see it all. Okay. But that was my goal today, was to introduce dividing fractions. Okay. So we did 2 pages. That was the homework. So if you finished that up, great. If you made a mistake, please look to correct it. And we will continue dividing fractions and mixed numbers tomorrow. Don't forget about your cons due Friday. Have a great day.